Hi, some of you are familiar with our stepSander offset sanding tool. Based on a lot of our customer replies and feedback, we decided to come up with a larger stepSander tool. This is the large offset sanding tool by stepSander. Let me share with you some of its benefits, but before I show you this, let me share with you some of the things that we all as modelers have to deal with. Now, what I have here is a airplane fuselage, and most of them come in halves. And to basically sand down the seam line after it's glued, we're often block sanding. And the problem with block sanding is that you might get the top of the ridge, but you might inadvertently nick off some of the edges where you don't want to sand. Sometimes we'll go at it with a flexible sanding stick, and that works too, but sometimes they'll bend and take off the edge. And also, if we want to have a little more control with a more rigid instrument such as a file, that might end up going in areas where we might actually nick the plastic remove material. Now here's where the large offset sander comes in handy. There are two things I want you to keep in mind, is that it elevates your hand about away from the surface and also lowers the sanding head to where you need to do your work. And you see how that works? That just quickly and easily removes material. Now if you rotate the large offset sander, you also have these small planing surfaces which allow you to evenly remove material in long areas. Now if I flip my fuselage over, I know that there's an area here where I have a possible seam, okay, where I've had to actually glue and putty. I'll go ahead and use the fillet tool and go ahead and sand those surfaces down. And you see how that's a nice little detail. And I have a much longer planing surface which allows me to take off material on these mating surfaces for the wings. One of the benefits of the larger tool is that you have a handle which allows you to have greater leverage as you work, and also you've got a rigid tool body which allows you to use these planing surfaces to actually remove material evenly, such as the seam on this wing assembly. You see how that quickly removes the plastic? And then you can also use the long planing surfaces to take off the edge on these wings. Now, once your tool becomes clogged with material such as primer, surface putty, or plastic, you can easily come back in with a used toothbrush and you come in and scrape the material out cleanly. You see how that just all comes off? And what that'll do is it'll have your tool ready for your next project, fresh and clean. And always make sure that you put away your tool and allow it to dry thoroughly before your next use. The large offset sander packs up with a large tool, preloaded with a sanding strip, and 2 additional belts. And the 2 additional belts feature a peel back adhesive, so all you have to do is peel back that paper and align it with the tool, and once you have that seated, continuously wrap that tool all the way around to the other end of the paper meets the notch of the tool. The large offset sander by stepSander. You can order your tools at www.stepsander.com.